Hi guys, it's Kate at Life Creative, coming back in our 5th week of talks. 2 weeks ago, we talked about our tendency as humans to take data and string it together in a truth. I'm calling them bricks of truth. We build the bricks, either build a house or a road towards the destiny of happiness. And then 1 week ago, I talked about what happens if we don't do that? What if we're not consumed with analyzing and bricklaying and getting things all together? And what if we're just there to experience and receive each moment, no matter what flavor or texture they are, and we don't have our hands full? What happens? Big hindrance to that experience of receiving instead of building. And that hindrance is believing in our beliefs. I was talking about this with my friends over dinner, because remember I made that promise that I want these talks to be really of the moment. And we were talking about when you meet someone who's got really strong beliefs and what that does to a relationship, you know? And what I noticed about myself when I have a very strong belief is that I'm not a very good listener. And I think listening is one of the most key components to receiving your life in that present moment. But if you're so attached to something that you believe in, which can happen because we have passion and we are moral beings, when we want to do the right thing, and so when we are so attached to whatever the right thing is, it's very hard for us to hear the other side. I think a good example of this is meeting someone who has different political values than you. And so I'm going to say a radical thing here, which is to invite a skepticism of even your most deepest belief. What does that mean? What that means is, I believe blank is wrong. You feel that deep in your bones, and when someone brings it up, immediately you feel the heat in your face and the fire in your blood, and it really rattles you. To ask yourself, or to allow some room, that there's a plurality of truth instead of sticking to your guns. Because I think when that happens, when we leave more room for our belief, is we stop having those reactions where our face is hot with anger and our blood is feeling like fire in our veins. And what happens is that we create space for ourselves in our lives. So the way to practice this would be to simply, when a belief comes up, when you really, in a conversation, and you find yourself feeling like you are wrong, right? That is wrong. When you feel that feeling, to just say to yourself, maybe it's okay. Maybe I'm going to loosen up right now. Just as an experiment. And a lot of this is just experiment to see what happens. Because we don't want to spend our whole life tied in a knot. We don't want to spend our whole life pushing people away about something we believe in. We don't want to spend our whole life pushing away opportunities which actually closes us off to life. We want as much life in our lungs as possible. And the way to do that is to be a good listener. There's an airplane, I'm going to wait for it to pass. Okay. And that's when we can really receive. And I think if you do this experiment, you'll notice that even with somebody on the other line, right? Because we draw these lines around our beliefs. We draw these borders. And somebody that lives beyond that border, you can see them more clearly, with more complexity, if you have your beliefs on a long leash. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I want to say. I want to encourage you this week to, when you feel that feeling of, I know this must be true, just to practice, to have that same voice in your mind that's talking to you say, maybe that is true for everyone else. Maybe there's more room for more things. I might not know. And when we practice this throughout our lives, we notice that what we believed at 10 is not what we believed at 20, and what we believe at 40 is not what we believed in 20. So our beliefs really, right? We stick to them so hard, like they're made of something permanent, but they're not. So why are we willing to give up breath, give up space, give up our relationships where we can really connect with someone heart to heart for them when they're not even that real? That's my question for you this week. How real are your beliefs? Can you hold them? Can you make them work throughout your whole life? Can you squeeze them into whatever shape that you can so that they work your whole life? Or do they work sometimes and then not work sometimes? So more than what do my beliefs do, or how real are my beliefs, maybe we could ask ourselves beyond that, what do my beliefs do for me in my life? Like, what's their function in my life? Because if your beliefs, if the main part of them is to make you feel safe, is to put ground under your feet in this wobbly world, because that's what they're doing. It's often that we build walls or we build ground to keep us from wobbling, to keep us safe, but we overdo it, and the walls become a prison.